All right, everyone. Well, first of all, I wanted to wish everyone watching this video a very happy new year. Happy 2020, everyone. And what a perfect time to do a end of 2019 wrap up as well as a look into 2020 with what is going to be coming up for Raid Shadow Legends. So with that being said, let's take a little bit of a look of what we kind of had going on at the end of 2019. And interestingly enough, we really won't be having to talk about this for too long because it's been rather slow over the last couple of days in Raid Shadow Legends, and I'm really glad that they went down this route, especially after the end of the Tormund fusion. We just had a whole lot of events, a whole lot going on, especially to everyone who was trying to complete that Tormund fusion, and I think that there was two roads that Plarium could have gone down. A lot of people expected that there would be another fusion after the Tormund fusion and that it would just be absolute insanity over the New Year's, but it seems like they kind of went the other direction and decided to give people a bit of a break and not really as much stuff to do over the New Year's, which is good because I feel like a lot of people don't really want to be forced to log in during times like this. I know this is one of the big problems that a lot of people had with this event that recently came out, this champion training event, although I wouldn't even really call it a champion training event. It's more like a champion training daily login rewards. Is what Plarium did is they made this daily point maximum 150, and if you actually broke down the math behind it, with the amount of time that you had to complete this champion training event, the amount of points that you needed for the ending reward of a sacred shard, you had to log in every single day and get every single point. Even if you missed a single point, you would not be able to end up getting the sacred shard. And what they ended up doing is they went back and they increased the daily point maximum from 150 to 225. So now you can easily end up missing a few points. You can miss several days actually and still get that sacred shard. So this is good news for those of you guys who want to enjoy the holidays a little bit more, not feel as pressured to log into Raid Shadow Legends to complete these type of events because you no longer have to do so. So we are in a bit more of a slow period of time. No more crazy fusion after the Tormund fusion, so that's kind of good news. Now, one thing that did catch my attention recently that popped up was this New Year's pack, and you guys know that I really don't like to talk about stuff in the shop very often. I especially haven't ever since Black Friday. I don't think I've talked about anything because there has really been nothing of noteworthy talking about in the shop. The prices have actually been very bad lately, and this New Year's pack is no exception. I'm really surprised. I would think that the New Year's pack, and with all the holidays going on, even the Christmas pack was not that greatly priced. If you take a look at it, 30 ancient shards, 1,000 gems, a couple of days of experience boost, and some brews for $50, I would heavily skip this pack. This is just no good, especially after that crazy Black Friday deal that we ended up having. It seems like Plarium, for some reason, they started to go in the right direction and make pack prices a little bit better a couple of months ago, closer to Black Friday, but now they're going backwards in the opposite direction, and everything lately has just not been very well priced. So not entirely sure that's what's going on. It's very weird. Plarium never ceases to surprise me with how they price this stuff. It's just so strange. I know, me personally, I have not bought anything in the shop in a while now. It's probably been a couple of weeks, except for maybe my raid pass. So they're not getting any money from me right now, and I'm not too sure how they do this kind of stuff, but the New Year's pack is definitely going to be a hard skip from me. So end of 2019 wrap up, not really a whole lot of stuff going on in Raid right now. Start of 2020, what do we have in terms of events? Well, we have one new event that just popped up. It is going to be in that same page as this champion training event. It's going to be this Dungeon Divers event. And this is nothing really too crazy, very similar to a lot of the Dungeon Divers events that we've had before. 2,200 points in order to end up getting all the rewards. It is a 3-day Dungeon Divers event, which is a bit of a shorter time period, but I will say this, if you take a look at the rewards, they're decent. They're definitely not terrible. You're looking at an Ancient Shard, a Void Shard, an Epic Book, a couple of days of experience boost, and a few gems. But this is one of those events where it's not required for a fusion. There's no champions that you need to get in order to complete a fusion or anything super crazy along those lines. It's one of those events where the rewards are good, but if you do end up missing this, if you guys have other things going on, if you don't feel like you need to be pressured to play Raid right now, this is one of those ones where you could still end up skipping it and not really feel too bad about it. So they might have made the points a little bit more difficult to get. I don't really know if this is the same points that they've always had for these Dungeon Divers, but I know that when I started the game in April, this was very typical to how events are running. It was very unlike what we've had recently with all the crazy fusions, 3, 4, 5 events all running at the same time. That is somewhat recent. When I first started out in April and May, it was a lot more laid back, a lot more like this, where we had maybe one event running. At the absolute maximum, we had 2, and there were plenty of times that lasted many days where we had nothing going on, and everything, the rewards were all a lot more like this. So this is, again, another decent time where there's not a crazy amount of stuff going on, so if you guys are busy over the holidays or you have other things going on, this is not a terrible time to take a little bit of a break and not feel as pressured to log in and play, especially since they increased the daily point earnings on this champion training event from 150 up to 225. Now, one little note as well is if you guys have Amazon Prime, if you got your Ultimate Gaelic, your Ultimate Galek, however you pronounce it. I've heard different pronunciations from different people. We do have a new Amazon Prime reward that recently started. It is 700 energy and 2 million silver. I believe you have a full 2 weeks in order to claim this, so you still have until like January 12th, January 13th, something along those lines. You know, if you're doing something right now, like working on that Dungeon Divers event, or you're working on scrolls for masteries, or, you know, you're working on farming food, you can end up claiming this energy right now, but we don't really have a ton of stuff going on. So you don't feel like you need to get this. If you guys want to hold off and wait, maybe we get some more announcements in the next week or so about upcoming events. I would probably hold off, especially if you are somebody who is more limited on resources or you're not a big spender on the game. 700 energy is a pretty decent chunk, so if we do have some announcements for some bigger events coming up in the future, you might be able to put that energy to some more efficient use. But of course, it's up to you. If you want to claim it right now and use it now, that is totally fine. Just something to be mindful of is you have plenty of time to claim these rewards, so you definitely do not need to get them right now. So that's going to be a bit of a wrap-up of 2019 and a start of what's going on at the beginning of 2020. Now let's take a bit of a further look into things that are going to be coming ahead in the future of 2020. Now, of course, you guys all know that we have the roadmap for Raid Shadow Legends, the infamous 2019 roadmap, which is no longer the 2019 roadmap. Plarium did make a correction. I guess you could call it a correction, more like an update, that this is now going to be the roadmap for not only 2019, but the first quarter of 2020 as well. Now, the real question is, do I think that they're going to even finish the rest of this roadmap in the next 3 months? Probably not. I think that if I'm being generous, it's going to take them half a year to end up completing the rest of this roadmap. Because if you take a look at where we are at right now, we are just a little bit more than halfway through. So we are at the Platinum tier. We still have the Battle Pass, the Void Tower, the Tag Team Arena, a new faction, a new clan boss, and mythical artifact crafting. So that's a lot of stuff to get done in 3 months, especially at the pace that Plarium ends up moving through this stuff. Now, the good news is we do actually have a decent amount of info about all of this stuff. The only things that I don't think I have info about are the Battle Pass and the mythical artifact crafting. So we have some teasers and announcements about everything else on this roadmap, as well as some additional stuff. So if you guys didn't watch the last update video from, I think it was a month or two ago, a lot of this information is coming from a presentation by Plarium that they ended up making. I believe it was to investors. I don't know exactly the details of the presentation, but they did end up posting some teasers to a lot of the stuff on the actual roadmap itself. So just a bit of a summary. I have some images as well for those of you guys who haven't seen them yet. But the new faction is going to have a, quote, Asia theme. And this is coming directly from Plarium. They said that this new faction would indeed have an Asia theme. And if you actually take a look at the concept art of this new faction here, you could see that is what is that's what the new faction is going to have in terms of the style, what they're going to look like. Obviously, we won't know more details about specific champions until the future, but that is the image that is circulating right now. Let's see here. So the Void Tower. So there is an image of the Void Tower going around that has a picture of a boss fight. And if you actually take a look at the image of the Void Tower, you'll see that it's a 5-person dungeon. So very similar to all the dungeons in the dungeon screen here. They all actually allow you to use 5 team members or 5 champions, unlike the campaign, which only lets you use 4. As you can see, we have the Void Tower right here. It's just locked. We can't play it right now. But 5 champions that you can end up using in the Void Tower. You also had that picture of the boss right there. That's pretty much all the info that we know about it for now, though. And again, this was in that presentation by Plarium to investors. Let's see here. Tag Team Arena. So the Tag Team Arena also has some screenshots going around. Really weird. Apparently it's a 3 versus 3 or 3-person Tag Team Arena, but it's actually 4. So if you take a look at the image of Tag Team Arena here, it looks like it's 3 separate zones, but it's still 4 champions or 4 team members, 4 versus 4 arena fights. So we don't really have a lot of information. Maybe this will actually tie together with how the Battle Pass is going to work, which is also one of the things that we don't really know a whole lot about, but that's kind of how that's going to function. Interesting to see what these 3 zones are going to end up being. You know, we'll have to just wait in the future and see what kind of information we end up getting about that. Let's see, the new Clan Boss concept art. This is a cool screenshot that was floating around also from that presentation, is there will be an entire new Clan Boss, not just a new difficulty like Ultra Nightmare, but an entire new boss fight. It is the last thing on the roadmap, but this is probably the thing that I am looking forward to the most. I think it's really cool. I'm really interested to see what this new fight is going to end up looking like, and this is just some concept art pulled from that presentation. As you can see, 5 team members, 5 champions, but it'll be a boss that has multiple heads, like a Tiamat Hydra type boss fight. So very interesting to see what that turns out to be. I kind of wish that this was closer to where we're at on the roadmap and not one of the last things, because again, one of the few things that I'm really looking forward to is seeing how this new clan boss fight turns out. We have major champion rebalancing. Now, this is something that was not on the roadmap, but we do know we did have some recent champion rebalancing. I'm not too sure if it's still on the actual news section here. It might still be. Let's see, balance update. It is. So here's all the champions that just got rebalanced recently in the last couple of weeks. As you can see, it was a decent amount, mostly epic champions, but they did mention in the Discord that there was going to be some much more major champion rebalance coming up in the future with a lot more major champions, a lot more legendaries. This is definitely something that they said to look forward to coming in the next big update. So we know that that is indeed confirmed, and that balance updates are something that is pretty high in their agenda. So those of you guys who have a bunch of Vault Guardian champions, which is pretty much going to be everyone with how many Vault Guardian champions that there are, lots of weak champions that just, you know, don't really stack up in terms of how good they are to other champions. Keep an eye out for those, because those will definitely be coming soon. And finally, we do know that level 70 and possibly level 80 plus are going to be coming sometime in the future. Now, this was mentioned a very long time ago, many months ago. We did not end up getting it with the 1.12 patch, which was a little bit disappointing, but it is something that is going to be coming out in the future. What does this mean? Well, it means more energy. I know we've been stuck at that 130 energy maximum for a very long time. In fact, Raid Shadow Legends is one of the very few games that I know where we've been at this maximum energy limit for a really long time. Usually in other games, they would have done something by now, increase the level cap, increase the maximum energy, you know, just something along those lines. But nope, 130 energy has been the energy cap in Raid Shadow Legends for many months now, actually ever since I started playing back in April, but it is on the list nonetheless. So that's kind of a look at all the stuff that we have coming up, you know, into the future, at least over the next few months. Now, again, they said first quarter of 2020. Do I really think all that stuff that I just mentioned is going to get done in the next 3 months? Do I really think all this will get done in 3 months? Absolutely not. I think it'll take half a year at the absolute least, possibly even the full year. I think if we could get all of this done in 2020, that's probably going to be more realistic with the pace that Plarium moves through this stuff. Now, a couple of other little notes and things to talk about before I end off this video, just little announcements that I wanted to fit in. First of all, this is the last day to enter that giveaway. For those of you guys wondering, about a week ago, I posted this video up on the channel right here, and it's one of the very, very few giveaways that I will ever end up doing. I do not like to do these very often because I just lose track, and there's a lot going on, especially with all the comments. There's something like 500 comments posted on this video. So tomorrow I'm going to draw the winners for that, try to reach out to you guys, and it'll probably be the only giveaway that I do in a very long time. But if you guys are interested in getting a hold of some free goodies from Salt, definitely make sure to check out that video. I'll leave a link in the description, and it'll be ending very, very soon. So last chance to get in on that. Let's see here. And finally, the most exciting thing that I wanted to announce in the video today is I am going to be, with the start of 2020, I am going to be opening up Discord, and also I'm going to be reopening up my Twitter from a very long time ago that I used way before Raid Shadow Legends videos. So if you guys are interested, that should be up and running by the time that this video is posted. Feel free to join if you guys want to. It's obviously going to be a work in progress. Today, it's probably going to be very basic, but I will, over time, work on getting moderators, work on getting it set up, and hopefully it'll turn into a nice community where if you guys have more specific questions, you can either ask me or other people who are knowledgeable on the game and just talk about other stuff as well. So those links will also be in the description, and I'll leave a pinned comment at the top. With that all being said, that's going to be everything for the video today. I threw a lot of info and stuff at you guys, so I'm going to leave it here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed. And if you did enjoy this video and you want more videos like this in the future, consider subscribing. Really appreciate all the support, everyone. Feel free to toss a quick like if you want to help out as well. It means a whole bunch. And of course, more Raid Shadow Legends videos, guides, tutorials, and all that fun stuff should be popping up on the screen right about now. Feel free to check them out. Over 100 videos in the Raid Shadow Legends playlist. Once again, Happy New Year's, everyone. Have a happy 2020, and until next time, this is Salt of the Salty Guild, signing out.